Clark instilled uncertainty among his adversaries. His reputation as a relentless and innovative commander created a perception of invincibility that helped secure his objectives without the need for prolonged conflict. This blend of psychological warfare with traditional military tactics paved the way not only for immediate territorial gains, but also for the broader narrative of American resilience and expansion. During one of his boldest maneuvers, George Rogers Clark led a force of about 170 men on a daring midwinter expedition aimed at catching the enemy off guard. Determined to recapture Fort Sackville before British reinforcements could fully mobilize, Clark knew that timing was everything. Rather than waiting for the thaw of spring, he opted for a surprise attack during the deep of winter, a time when the enemy might be less prepared. This decision set his men on a grueling 19-day trek through southern Illinois, covering roughly 160 miles of harsh, icy terrain. As the journey unfolded, a midwinter thaw transformed the landscape into a formidable adversary. Torrents of water from the north swept across the plains, turning paths into shallow rivers and leaving his men wading through freezing water. For the last 10 days of the expedition, the cold water sometimes reached their necks, adding severe physical strain to an already demanding mission. This journey through icy water not only tested the endurance of Clark's frontier force, but also underscored their resolve and resourcefulness, reflecting the broader challenges of fighting on an untamed frontier. The gamble of launching a winter attack under such remorseless conditions highlights Clark's innovative approach to warfare. By daring to press forward despite nature's obstacles, he forced the enemy to contend with a tactic they hardly expected, a swift, relentless advance under conditions that would paralyze a less determined force. This episode remains a testament to the audacity and tenacity of his men, whose commitment in the face of bitter cold and flooding waters helped set the stage for what would become one of the most daring campaigns in the Revolutionary War. George Rogers Clark's leadership was nothing short of inspirational, a blend of audacity, clear vision, and personal example that rallied his men to accomplish what many thought impossible. He famously believed that great things can be accomplished by few men well conducted, a sentiment that translated into acts of courage and unconventional strategies on the battlefield. By placing himself alongside his soldiers during the grueling campaigns, such as the winter expedition that saw them wade through icy, frigid waters, Clark not only charted a daring course against a formidable enemy, but also instilled in his men the belief that their hardship would forge victory. His ability to connect with his troops was rooted in both his deep understanding of frontier life and his willingness to shoulder the burdens of his campaigns. In the face of bitter cold and overwhelming natural obstacles, Clark's personal resolve became a powerful motivator. Soldiers observed that if their leader could endure the icy water and brutal conditions without flinching, then their own limits were capable of being transcended. He transformed what could have been insurmountable challenges into rallying points that sharpened their collective spirit and sense of purpose, thus creating an unbreakable bond of camaraderie and shared destiny. Beyond the physical hardships, Clark's visionary command tapped into a broader narrative, the defense of a new nation and its promise of freedom. By communicating a clear, grand objective, he connected even the most exhausted soldier with the larger mission of preserving American ideals. His persuasive manner and unwavering belief in his plans made his men ready to venture into the unknown, embracing risks that today would seem almost superhuman. This strategic blend of inspirational rhetoric, shared sacrifice, and bold planning encapsulated the essence of his military genius and continues to serve as a testament to leadership that defies obstacles. Modern military strategy owes much of its effectiveness to leadership principles that harken back to historical figures like George Rogers Clark. His ability to lead from the front, share in the hardships, and instill hope among his men is echoed in today's military doctrine. Modern leaders are expected to be visible, decisive, and resilient, qualities that not only inspire troops but also set a tactical tone for operations. This concept, often encapsulated in the maxim, "the leader is a dealer in hope," forms one of the core tenets in modern military leadership training emphasizing that courageous, hands-on leadership can tilt the balance even in adverse circumstances. The psychological dimension of warfare is another key area where these historical lessons prove invaluable. Clark's example of rallying his men, even when facing seemingly insurmountable odds like crossing icy waters for a surprise winter attack, illustrates how morale and belief in a shared mission can be decisive factors. In modern strategic planning, similar principles are applied to counter asymmetric threats and complex operational environments. By fostering a culture of trust and unity, and by leveraging personal example to motivate subordinates, modern military leadership not only enhances the cohesion of their units, but also ensures that strategic objectives are met despite the chaos of battle. This blend of tactical acuity, emotional intelligence, and moral courage is integral to contemporary military operations and training. Moreover, modern doctrines now recognize that leadership extends beyond the battlefield to encompass ethical decision-making, adaptive risk management, and the effective utilization of technological advancements. While the context has evolved, the underlying leadership strategies remain consistent. Leaders must inspire, adapt, and guide their forces through uncertainty. Whether in the training grounds or on modern, high-tech battlefields, the enduring impact of trailblazing leaders like Clark continues to inform and shape the strategic frameworks that drive military success today. George Rogers Clark's battlefield tactics were marked by a fusion of audacity, resourcefulness, and a deep sensitivity to both environmental and human factors. His approach was anything but conventional, marked by a willingness to exploit the element of surprise and turn nature itself into an ally. One of the most striking nuances of his strategy was his readiness to commit to seemingly impossible maneuvers. For instance, by launching winter expeditions, when most commanders would bide their time, Clark forced his enemy to confront not only his military force, but also the brutal challenges of harsh, winter conditions. His men often marched over vast, flood-ravaged terrain, and even waded through icy waters that reached them up to their necks. This calculated exposure to the elements did more than test their endurance. It disrupted enemy expectations and communications, while simultaneously forging a resilient, battle-hardened force whose collective morale soared because they witnessed firsthand their leaders sharing in every hardship.